Now, the Southern Poverty Law Center is an organization that tracks extremist groups in the United States, and they have just declared the group White Lives Matter as a hate group. Now, White Lives Matter is one of the groups that sprang up in response to Black Lives Matter. Now, it's been portrayed by the right as just saying, hey, well, my life matters too. My life matters too. Why is it that black people only get to say that and not be called racist? Well, there's a few reasons. For one, that's a bad argument. But it kind of goes with the presumption that saying Black Lives Matter means that you don't think anyone else's does. That's why they say, oh, you're racist if you say that. No, that's actually not true. It's absurd, actually. Because, look, Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter, all lives matter. That shouldn't be controversial. Okay? But that's the thing, right? The point of Black Lives Matter is to point out how, yes, their lives matter too, in addition to all the others. And then in America, we seem to have a problem with affirming that notion that black lives do also indeed matter. I mean, just look at all the recent, not just recent, but all the cop shootings, the fact that there are more, when it comes to population, a percentage of African Americans in prison being shot and killed by police that are unarmed, people like Tamir Rice, the guy that was killed in a Walmart for holding a toy gun within 5 seconds, stuff like that. That's what makes you come out and say, hey, wait a minute. It doesn't seem like we're treating black people as if their lives matter. So that was the whole point, right? So now, on the other side, what's the point of White Lives Matter? Well, to find that out, you could simply go to their website. I mean, they say it in plain as day. It basically states that the movement, White Lives Matter, is dedicated to the preservation of the white race. Oh, okay, wow. Let's read more, huh? They also argued that white Americans are victims of a genocide caused by factors like the immigration of non-white people and interracial marriage. Yeah, this is all standard white supremacist stuff that you'd see on Stormfront. Just saying. So naturally, as they've said, they're against immigration and integration as well. Keep them separate. Keep the races separate. Gee, I can't understand why they're viewed as a racist group. Can't understand. Please explain to me how that's not racist. Now, last week, as the New York Times reported, White Lives Matter protest members held a protest outside the Houston office of the NAACP to demand that it denounced Black Lives Matter. The Houston Chronicle reports that some of the protesters carried semi-automatic rifles and Confederate flags. Now look, you are allowed to open carry in Texas, okay? And you're allowed to protest. And you're allowed to carry whatever flag you want, right? But look at how this looks. You're outside of the NAACP, holding guns and a flag that a lot of people view as racist. And I would argue very effectively, by the way, because I have the facts, that the Confederate flag is indeed a flag of racism and racial hatred. But anyway, look at the perception here. Or how about you look at it from the other side? If the Black Panthers held a protest and demanded that white people denounced White Lives Matter, right? A certain percentage of the population would end up going apeshit. They'd end up calling the National Guard or something. It would be an outrage. Outrage. How dare you? How dare you? The perception and the coverage between the two different situations would be far different. I'm just saying. Now, now back to why the Southern Poverty Law Center declared White Lives Matter a hate group. Well, researchers with the center said White Lives Matter had been promoted by something called the Aryan Renaissance Society, a group in Texas that is a member of something called the United Aryan Front, a white nationalist coalition. Heidi Byrick, the director of the intelligence project at the Southern Poverty Law Center in Montgomery, Alabama, said the center's designation focused on one chapter of the group based in Nashville that is led by Rebecca Barnett, a leader of something called the Aryan Strike Force. They're described as a skinhead group, and the National Socialist movement, America's largest neo-Nazi group. No. These people, no, they're not racist at all. They're just pointing out how white lives matter too. And by the way, I hate it when these groups you actually use the word socialist. They're not socialists at all. They're radical right wingers. I'm just saying. Now, Ms. Barnett did not respond to an email seeking comment on Monday from the New York Times, but White Lives Matter posted several videos criticizing the Southern Poverty Law Center to its YouTube channel in the past 2 days. One video described White Lives Matter members as, quote, just a guy next door. Well, sure, they could be the guy next door, because sometimes the guy next door just happens to be a racist. Or sometimes the guy next door is misled about what a group actually stands for, which also could be the case. And I'm being incredibly kind. Now, a lot of what the group stands for is essentially based on who leads it. And you could say that of almost any group, right? Miss Barnett described herself as a White Lives Matter co-founder in her profile on something called VK.com. Now, VK.com is a Russian social networking site preferred by white nationalists for its lenient approach to posts that contain racist content. Now, this woman, right, Miss Barnett, had frequently posted Nazi memes and used racist, anti-Semitic, and homophobic slurs. She also argues that white women represent, quote, the elite of the human species. Other posts include, we do not live by the code of the non-whites, and our forefathers built the nation that is being allowed to be destroyed. Another post, she added, I wish Hitler were here alive and well today. As if that wasn't clear enough, there's that. No, not racist at all. No, Black Lives Matter, they're the real racists. They're the real hate group. Telling those good cops not to shoot them violent thugs, that is the real racism. Right. And by the way, nobody blames cops all the way, right? Look, the problem with police shootings, by the way, is that our training is flawed. Our training needs to be changed so that police don't approach every situation as if they're as if they feel the need to shoot something. Right? We need to change that training, and we need to focus more on de-escalation. Dallas did it. It became one of the best police organizations in the nation. If they can do it, why can't other police places do this? Right? I'm just saying. But look, that's the evidence. White Lives Matter deserves the definition of a hate group, based on that evidence alone. Now, some might say, so does Black Lives Matter. But see, the problem with that is that Black Lives Matter isn't saying that America is being destroyed by white people. They're not posting black supremacist memes. In fact, I've never heard of such a thing. No, what they're saying overall in their message is, hey, please, just stop shooting us. Hey everybody, if you like this video, then please like this video and share. And if you want to see more like this, then please hit that subscribe button below.